the weather forecast with Akendogas.
Hi lovely viewers, and a pleasure to have you again on the weather forecast. I hope you had a super Sunday. Between tonight and tomorrow morning, we expect the calm weather to dominate the nation, with light showers expected in some parts of the west and the northwest regions. We may get as low as 19 degrees in the Adamawa region, the east, south, center, littoral, and the southwest regions would expect temperatures to get as low as between 20 to 22 degrees. We take you ditchly to the north, where this evening there may be no chance of precipitation with as low as 30 degrees in Poli, and by morning there may be no chance of rainfall in the entire north region. Next, we go over to the west, where this evening may be light showers dominating the region, and by morning there may be light showers in Bafang and Bangangti. Lastly, we go over to the northwest, where this evening there may be light showers in the entire region, and by morning there may be rainfall in the towns of Ndop, Kumbo, and Kambe. To protect yourself and others against the coronavirus, make sure you keep a 1 meter distance with everyone, avoid greeting by handshakes, and in case of symptoms, call the number 1510. Have a good time.
As the coronavirus pandemic poses threat in the country, religious, traditional, municipal authorities plus associations join government caravan to contain the spread of the virus with the donation of hygiene kits to the populations. Victims in Bambui in the northwest region, whose houses were burnt as a result of the terrorism in the northwest and southwest regions, have received compensation in cash and kind from the largesse of the newly elected Member of Parliament for the Bafut-Tuba constituency. And those are our top stories. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the 7:30 News with me, Gladys Tata. The Syndicate of Professional Transporters in Cameroon has released a communique calling off a strike it intended to carry out from April 27, 2020. As Joyce Tata tells us in the following report, they are demanding a reduction in fuel prices, which the syndicate officials say they are working with government for a peaceful resolution. Joyce?
One of the sectors affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic is the transport sector, as professional drivers now need to obey government measures in observing the 1 meter distancing rule for their own safety and that of passengers. But some imposters in the sector complain of low income at such a time and vie for fuel price to be reduced. They plan to go on a strike action this Monday, April 29, an intention which the Syndicate of Professional Drivers of Cameroon completely oppose.
The
transport sector has been taken hostage by a group of persons who keep organizing strike actions. We say no to this, and we are calling on all professional drivers to carry out their activities normally on Monday. We will ensure this is done. They should not give a listening ear to imposters, because there will be no strike action on Monday.
They affirm it is a tough moment for everyone, but it is of utmost importance to work hand in hand with government for the virus to be dealt with, so life returns to normalcy for all.
The fight against COVID-19 in Cameroon requires concerted efforts, and one role of traditional leaders to stop the spread of this pandemic cannot be undermined. Not only do they represent communities, they will have power to influence their subjects. Targeting traditional rulers, therefore, in the sensitization process against COVID-19 will be reaching out to millions of people who look up to these custodians of tradition. Details with Constantine Baum.
Traditional rulers are the auxiliary to the administration. They are an important part of the communities, and one might wonder how effective the COVID-19 campaign will be implemented in the villages without their contributions.
We have started to sensitize our people to explain the measures taken by the state to avoid the spreading of coronavirus in our rural areas.
Traditional rulers incarnate a reassuring institutional stability and certainty at the grassroots. Better equipped with the right messages, especially in the local languages, they stand a chance to be better understood.
They have to go out when it is really necessary. Avoid paying visit to friends or brothers and sisters if this is not necessary.
In the days ahead, their participation in the fight against COVID-19 will be better felt following an MOU signed with the Ministry of Public Health.
We in Cameroon, we have a National Council of Traditional Rulers. We have to be involved in the fight, in the prevention against coronavirus.
The major challenge some of the traditional leaders do face comes from the complexity of the African culture.
We have to make people accept that they have to modify their way of living, because the way they are living is favorable for the spreading of coronavirus.
Traditional rulers will play a better role in the COVID-19 fight as they are seen as the true representatives of their people. They are accessible, respected, and have the legitimate right to influence their subjects.
As you must have heard and seen on CRTV's airwaves, the Archbishop of Douala, His Grace Samuel Kleda, has come up with a treatment for coronavirus. He has confirmed that some staff of the diocese who were confirmed positive of coronavirus have recovered after taking the treatment. Alphonse Abongwa Achu spoke with the Archbishop and compiled this report for the 7:30 News.
Archbishop Samuel Kleda has to his credit 30 years of medicinal plant research. Over these years, the man of God admits having discovered concoctions that treat ailments affecting the human respiratory system. The new coronavirus has given the prelate another challenge, which augurs a glimpse of hope. Given that I already knew the plants according to the symptoms of corona, I have simply put together these combinations, prepared them and given to persons with the symptoms, and they were relieved. My pleasure is that those who take the product are well, so I'm satisfied. The Archbishop attests that health workers in the Douala Archdiocese who contracted COVID-19 have been relieved by the medicine he discovered and offers free of charge. Some nurses who had respiratory problems because they came in contact with COVID-19 patients took the product. Afterwards, they were fine. All we want is that the persons should not die. For now, the Diocesan Health Department is charged with the follow-up of these patients. I work within the framework of health. Given that we have our health services, the person who follows up the patients is our Diocesan Health Services Coordinator. He is a medical doctor. We are not illegal given that we work as a health structure. This also is the Archbishop's token to the collective national effort to put an end to the pandemic.
And we shall be giving you minute-by-minute updates on those who have regained their health after receiving the treatment in our subsequent newscasts. The respect of preventive measures against the coronavirus pandemic has become a new but normal in churches across the country. The situation has limited the resources of the clergy to accomplish their evangelization missions. Ewana Ipola visited some churches in Yaoundé and now reports.
Religious authorities of the Roman Catholic and Protestant churches in Yaoundé have intensified measures to limit the propagation of the deadly coronavirus during Sunday worship services.
I want to thank God for the measures put in place by the WHO and the government of Cameroon. We have taken some measures. At the entrance of the church, you will find a wash-hand basins where Christians have the opportunity to wash their hands and sanitize their hands before coming to the church. And while in the church, we have limited the number of Christians who attend our services to 50 in order that we should maintain the social distances. We have more than 4,000 Christians who worship here with us. And some other measures we have taken is that at least we have given room for groups that are more than 50 to meet within the week so that we can attend to them.
The situation is a challenge to most churches.
The greatest challenge we have now is how to administer the sacraments. because the sacraments entail that we come together in public worship. Now, and another challenge which the church is facing is that in the midst of this corona pandemic, how do we sustain the church? For the past 2 months, I can say that we have lost millions. How do we maintain this building? How do we pay the workers? How do we carry out our compassionate duties to the people?
In order to continue guiding the children of God, pastors and priests are now using ICT tools to preach to their Christians and also advising them to stay at home.
Christians of the Triumphant Faith Ministries International have prayed on God to seek lasting solutions on the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. This was during a 3-day program that took place at the church premises, coordinated by the president of the United Pastors Prayer Association in Cameroon. Joyce Tata completes the story.
I will build my church and the gates of the place of death will not prevail. It is on this firm promise of Jesus Christ that the seminar organized by the Triumphant Faith Ministries International, which kick-started on Friday at Oja and on live platforms, was built, with an intention of reminding Christians and the world at large the power of the church.
What the church has as a message, we appreciate all our authorities for what they are doing, but we really want the world to know, we want Cameroon to know that all of this effort without Jesus is not going to give us any result. The secret is Jesus. We need to give ourselves to him.
At a time when the world is facing the coronavirus pandemic, many are in need of a source of solace and hope, and so the church thought it wise to bring this to Christians and unbelievers.
He is the solution of mankind. Even before corona, people have been dying. So we have to stand on the sure foundation, and the foundation is Jesus Christ.
The church stands in prayer saying, no crisis can conquer God's people.
Mrs. Chantal BIYA's anti-COVID-19 caravan through the Circle of Friends of Cameroon, CERAC, has handed hygiene and sanitation kits in the littoral region to support the fight against the spread of the coronavirus. This was during a ceremony chaired by the Inspector General at the Littoral Governor's Office, Njikam Abubakar, as Sali Ebenyenyoki reports from CRTV Littoral in Douala.
The anti-COVID-19 package donated by the Circle of Friends of Cameroon, CERAC, whose president is Madame Chantal BIYA, is destined for different structures and organizations based in Douala. The package, comprising facial masks, cartons of soap, drums and buckets, will go a long way to buttress the fight against the spread of the COVID-19 virus in the economic capital. Highway transporters received a fair share of the anti-COVID-19 package from CERAC, and they promise to put them into good use.
I would first of all like to thank the First Lady. We will distribute them in our different loading points, let me say motor parks, so that the drivers and even the passengers can wash their hands to protect themselves.
Other beneficiaries of the CERAC package to fight against coronavirus are the Ndokoti Market, the Afrad Orphanage, as well as the Syndicate of Township Taxis and Motorbike Transporters. In the presence of some CERAC members in Douala, peer educators recalled the different anti-COVID barrier methods and demonstrated how to wash hands correctly. The Inspector General at the Littoral Governor's Office, Njikam Abubakar, reminded representatives of beneficiary structures and organizations to share the gifts to their collaborators so that together the littoral region can be COVID-19 free.
In a related development, the fight against the coronavirus in the Far North region has been given fresh impetus by Mrs. Chantal BIYA's Circle of Friends of Cameroon, CERAC. A consignment of sanitation materials offered by the philanthropic organization has been handed to the beneficiary population by Governor of the Far North region, Mijiawa Bakari. Ayok John Ashu tells us more from CRTV Far North in Marwa.
True to her humanitarian mission, Madame Chantal BIYA's Circle of Friends of Cameroon has once again expressed solidarity with the population of Marwa and given a booster to government response plan to COVID-19. CERAC's target includes traders at the Marwa main market, motor taxi and urban transporters, as well as the Daniel Brote Orphanage in Marwa. In a ceremony void of speeches, the beneficiaries received important quantities of hand-washing material, soap, sanitizers, and face masks as CERAC's contribution to contain the spread of the coronavirus, which has so far spared the Far North region. The happy recipients of the invaluable gifts from their caring mother expressed gratitude to the First Lady and her philanthropic organization, CERAC.
I would just say to CERAC, thank you, and we are very delighted for the gift. To fight against this pandemic, we are going just to continue fighting this disease.
While handing the CERAC donations, the governor of the Far North region, Mijawa Bakare, promised to personally ensure that they serve the desired purpose.
The mayor of Santa has installed hygiene and sanitation kits at Matazem Santa, the main entry point to the northwest region. His Royal Highness Samki Elvis Ganyam II says following the discovery of 5 COVID-19 cases in the region, his municipality is making moves towards stopping other infected persons from entering the region through Santa. Eric Langmia-Wufo tells us more from Bamenda.
Henceforth, it will be compulsory for everyone entering Bamenda to wash their hands after going through the obligatory medical screening at Matazem.
Our municipality happens to be the gateway municipality into the Northwest region. So if the gateway is open, therefore the whole of Northwest is destroyed. I have even put in place at Matazem now a structure whereby vehicles will not only, people will not only drop from the vehicle before they tells them, but they will tell them inside the vehicle. And any other cases that is seen inside the vehicle, I think the rest of the vehicle will just turn back. They will not cross Matazem.
He has installed tap buckets, donated hygiene and sanitation kits consisting of soap, locally made hand sanitizers and face masks in Matazem, Santa Market and Santa Mai 12. In Santa, everyone is mobilized towards the coronavirus disease.
We are very grateful because now like this we'll fight it. You cannot meet us here in Jesus' name. Yes, we are very grateful.
Mayor was accompanied during the operation by Santa's divisional officer George Emmanuel Magloa Basilican.
The population of Okola in the Leke division of the Center region has received hygiene kits to help curb the coronavirus in that locality. This was during a sensitization campaign organized by a youth association dubbed JAPABI. Details with Victor Siga.
The sensitization campaign by this youth association, JAPABI, aimed at schooling the population of Okola on the COVID-19 pandemic and its measures.
We choose Okola because it's a population who is back the town. Then we want to touch right back all population who are not informed by the measure that government have put on place to fight against the pandemic.
They were also taught on how to use the kit distributed to them in the occasion. The gift comprised of buckets, hand sanitizers and face masks.
We are still in the fight against the COVID-19 and we have come here in Okola so to sensibilize the people of Okola to know how to avoid that disease. We are just asking to the population of Okola to respect the measures that have been given by the government.
The people have been challenged to be true ambassadors of the fight against the pandemic in their community.
The region of Como has benefited from sanitary kits donated by a non-governmental organization dubbed Modbinama as their quota in the fight against COVID-19. The exercise that took place this Sunday at the Como roundabout saw the free distribution of over 2,000 face masks. Gerard Nanji Yambe tells us more.
As part of their contribution to assist government fight against the common enemy COVID-19, Modbinama, a non-governmental organization, has offered free sanitary kits to the population of Nkomo in the Yaoundé 4 municipality. The consignment included, among other things, 2,000 face masks, containers adapted with tabs, disinfectant machines, and cartons of soap.
We have the zeal to assist in the fight against the COVID-19. This is the reason we have organized a sensitization campaign in the Como neighborhood. Besides, we have offered free face masks and soap as our support.
Organized in collaboration with the Como Local Development Committee, the population was urged to respect social distancing protocols while observing hygiene rules.
I want to tell our people that COVID-19 exists, and we thank Modbinama for what they have done. We encourage others to do same.
All this is geared towards barring coronavirus from the Nkomo community.
And as usual, we take you to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center here in Yaoundé to join Baldwin Sama and his guest, Dr. Eric Tandy, public health expert, to give us the latest updates on the COVID-19 situation in the country. Baldwin, tell us, we hear the number of recoveries keep increasing.
Good evening to you, Gladys. As it was the case at the start of the week where we had an impressive increase in the number of recoveries as far as COVID-19 is concerned in Cameroon, so too it is this Sunday evening at the close of this week where we equally have a similar increase in the number of persons who have recovered from COVID-19, given that as of tonight we have 786 confirmed cases of Cameroonians who have recovered from COVID-19. And as we did tell you yesterday, officials of the Ministry of Public Health say their main intention is to save as many lives as possible, given that between yesterday and today we had 83 new cases of recoveries as far as COVID-19 is concerned. And tonight with our resource person, Dr. Eric Tandy, who is a public health expert in the Ministry of Public Health, we shall be looking at contact tracing and how the process unfolds. Good evening, Doctor.
Yeah, good evening, Baldwin.
Talking about contact tracing, we observe that when a suspected case, for example, is tracked, a team goes down to the field to carry out a sample. Can you please explain to us how this process unfolds?
Yeah, it is important that the population understand that if professionals from the Ministry of Public Health have bothered to contact them through phone, it's because of a reason, you know. In order to curb or to disconnect this chain, we try to do the contact of individuals who might have been exposed to somebody who has been declared positive. So they make a call to this individual to locate where the individual is found. But before having this individual contact is due to the information that has been given by the case that the professionals, the health professionals have come across.
And when the sample is collected, Doctor, what's the next stage?
Okay, before coming even to the sample collection, a team, the rapid response and intervention team that gets to the field, try to educate this individual, you know, counsel them, and maybe with those who are in the family to understand why the team has come down to do this exercise. And if the sample collection, just like you said, have been done, it is taken to the laboratory for diagnosis.
And when the sample has been taken to the laboratory for diagnosis, if the result happens to be that the person has been tested positive, what happens next?
Yeah, it is worth noting that if the results come positive, the individual already know the next step to do, because this team that went to the field already explained that if the results are negative, then you will continue to follow certain measures. But if it is positive, then there is a team that will take you to an isolation center to follow other proceedings that will lead to your treatment. So it is not a matter of being worried again, because in the package of the Rapid Intervention and Response Team, explanations are given on how this will be managed. I think it is very clear in the package that is being delivered to the population.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for always being available as a resource person on the 7:30 newscaster. Gladys, officials of the Ministry of Public Health use the press briefing here daily to thank special individuals, groups or associations who have been helping the ministry fight against the spread of COVID-19 through different donations, be they financially or materially speaking. And they equally use the opportunity to remind Cameroonians to continue respecting the different measures outlined by the government of Cameroon to stop the spread of COVID-19, especially wearing a face mask when they leave their respective homes and respect social distancing and hygiene. So the take-home message from here tonight at the end of this week is that 786 Cameroonians have recovered from COVID-19 in Cameroon. Back to you, Gladys.
Again, Baldwin Sama. And the paramount ruler of the Bafosun, Mokete Ekoko IV, has donated hundreds of sanitary kits to the population of Kumba villages and all the subdivisional councils in these areas to assist in the fight against COVID-19. Larry Efande tells us more.
No confirmed case of the virus here yet, but they don't wait for one. The new paramount ruler of the Bafors offers hundreds of water points and other sanitation kits to all quarter heads and municipal council authorities here in Kumba.
One of the most effective ways of fighting COVID-19 is the washing of hands. And I thought the best way also to drive home that message through them to their people, their community, so on, was to give a gift.
It is the first televised outing of the benefactor since assuming the reins of power from his father, Von V.E. Mokete, in March. His current concerns tally with the global health scare.
It is a new era, and it is time for us to all work together as one to drive the interest of the people here forward. And I'll have to insist that it's not just for the Bafo people, but it's for all the inhabitants of Kumba.
The fourth reigning monarch on the Bafo throne promises a new dawn as together they bar the road against coronavirus COVID-19.
Some sanitary kits have equally been donated to the population of the Mbamba and the Nobo division here in the Central region to help them fight against the spread of the coronavirus. As Baldwin Sama tells us, these sanitary kits were handed over by some elites of the division in the presence of the senior divisional officer of the Mbamba and Inobo.
Like one family, elites of the Mbam and Inobo division of the Central region have put together their efforts to stop the spread of COVID-19, with those of Bokito, led by Honorable Suzanne Onobiono and the mayor, handing over sanitary kits to the population of Bokito to help them stop the spread of COVID-19. These sanitary kits, made up of face masks, soap and disinfectants, were distributed in markets and public places.
I want to thank the president of the Mbam Development Association and all the elites of the Grand Mbam, that is those of Mbam and Enugu division and those of Mbam and Kin division, who have come today to show solidarity with their brothers and sisters.
The Association of Elites of the Mbam and Inobo decided to help some families with some material worth 10 million CFA francs to roof their homes during this rainy season.
And on to this lead story, roofing sheets and cash assistance worth some 10 million CFA francs have been offered to needy families in Bambui whose houses were burnt down by unidentified individuals. The goodwill gesture was made today in Bambui by the newly elected Member of Parliament for Bafut-Tuba constituency, Honorable Olivier Ago. Details with Ngonige Shwaibu Shari of our Northwest Regional Bureau.
There were altogether 2,000 roofing sheets that were offered to 22 families in Bambui whose houses were burnt down by unknown persons in the wake of the ongoing crisis rocking the Northwest region. The 22 family heads who received the roofing sheets, together with the sum of 50,000 francs each to facilitate their task, heaved a sigh of relief.
We did not even know where to live, even where to stay. We was even living under rain and we have no place to rest. So we thanks be to God and thanks be to the man who have supported me for this gift.
The donor, Honorable Oliver Ago, the newly elected Member of Parliament for the Bafut-Tuba constituency, said he is now realizing his campaign promises, hinting that he will extend his largesse to other affected villages of the constituency.
I haven't seen what happened to the homes and houses that were burned. I had that burden in my mind to make sure that I come back as fast as possible to meet the needs of my people. And the days ahead, we'll be moving to the other villages in Tuba subdivision, and they will move down to Bafut.
The duo of Tuba Alim Garga challenged other members of the elite of the subdivision to emulate the example of Honorable Oliver Ago. The Member of Parliament thanked some CPDM bigwigs of Mezam division, especially Minister Paul Atanganji, for supporting him in his endeavor.
We stay in Bamenda, where the new commander of the Northwest Gendarmerie Legion, Colonel Boom Biswe Raymond, has assumed duty in Bamenda with the commitment to work with determination to restore normalcy in the region. At the military tribunal, 2 newly appointed officials have also taken up service, the president and the military prosecutor, who have been advised to help the hierarchy in maintaining discipline in the military. Winston Lebga with the details.
Here is the new man in charge of the Northwest Gendarmerie Legion, discussing with Governor Adolphe Lele Lafrique. He is Colonel Boum Tom Biswe, said to be capable of showing a lot of enterprise in any task he is assigned to.
We are just here for the peace to be stable, and we hope we are going to do our best to make and to give all what we have in our means.
He takes over from Colonel Vale Kwamala, who has been described as an exemplary top-ranking officer. Here at the military tribunal, the new president is Major Florent Sikati, who assumes duty alongside the military prosecutor, Major Salvador Chofo.
To the prosecutor, we ask him to do his job and taking into consideration all the laws that govern the exercise of that activity.
The ceremonies were carried out without the usual pomp on account of the COVID-19 menace.
Some soldiers on the battlefront against Boko Haram in the Far North region have received financial assistance from the President of the Republic. While handing the envelopes to the interned soldiers at the Marwa Military Hospital, the commander of the 4th Combined Military Region, Major General Salim Muhammadu, who also transmitted the message of solidarity of the head of state to the security and defense forces defending Cameroon's territorial integrity and ensuring peace to all citizens. Ayok John Ashu has more.
It was a high moment of comfort, encouragement, and recognition from High Military Command to the courageous men ready for supreme sacrifice in the exercise of their duties. The commander of the 4th Military Region, Major General Salim Muhammadu, bearer of the message of the head of state.
To see us at Hospital, we will continue to preserve our security and the country.
While handing the head of state's financial package to the wounded soldiers, Major General Salim Muhammadu intimated that thanks to their commitment, the spine of Boko Haram has been broken.
Nous avons le contrôle de la situation.
The situation is under control in spite of sporadic attacks by Boko Haram, but we have total control of the situation. Soldiers on the front are enthusiastic, professional, and engaged in their duty. We thank the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces for providing us with the means to accomplish our mission.
Merci au chef des forces armées de s'occuper de nous donner les moyens de notre mission.
Special gratitude was also extended to the medical team, working relentlessly to see the soldiers back on their feet.
That is how we saw the 7:30 news of this evening. But before we take leave of you, a recap of our major stories. As the coronavirus pandemic poses threat in the country, religious, traditional, municipal authorities and associations join government caravan to contain the spread of the virus with the donation of hygiene kits to the various populations. Plus, victims in Bambui whose houses were burnt as a result of terrorism in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon have received compensation in cash and kind from the largest of the newly elected Member of Parliament for Bafut Tuba constituency. You will be in the company of Karine Olivia Bid at 8:30 for the news in French, and I'll be here. Esther Kima will be here from Friday. Until then, we wish you a pleasant evening.